Hi guys, welcome to Learning Electronics Repair, and I have Detlef with me today.
Yay!
So I'm going to pass you mainly over to Detlef for this video. What we have on the bench here are two displays. So we were showing these on a video recently. We want to use these in a project we have very much in mind, which is an automated MOSFET tester, analyzer, plotting graphs and all sorts of parameters.
Parameters is nice,
yeah. So we're going to try to make something that is quite sophisticated, and to do that we need a good user interface and a good display. So Jet, what did you find for the project?
Yeah, while we were talking about this, we were running through the project. This was the MOSFET tester thingamajig, and we were going for, okay, we won't be happy with a tiny small display we currently have on there. So something weird happened. I was going through my mails, and Elecrow contacted me, which is the sponsor of this video, by the way, through me, which is weird on this channel. But they say, okay, we have some displays here, do you want to test them out? And we were talking about this, and I thought, perfect, this is exactly what we want. So I asked them, can you send over 2 displays here? And they did.
Okay, so these were sent free of charge.
Yeah, we got them free of charge.
We're not being paid to make this video in any way.
No, we're not paid for this. But I really appreciate that they came in with that. And,
Thanks very much, Elecrow. And I'm sure you and Elecrow, you guys will be very interested to see what we do with them as one of your displays.
Yeah, if you never know Elecrow, they're doing modules and displays, of course, but they're doing their designs by themselves. This is not some copy of a copy of a copy. This is genuine design by them. So, I really used them before, and quite happy.
Great, so I'll put the link in the video description, obviously. But tell us that these are not just screens, are they, these displays? This is not like a laptop screen. This is more than a display, yeah?
Well, the bigger one is pretty much like a laptop screen. It's a TFT display in 800 by 480.
Okay.
So really high resolution. And the little one down there is 400 by 300, I guess. We'll see this in a minute, because we haven't looked at the data sheets.
But there are some switches on this display.
Yeah, and there are switches and stuff on there. This is because these displays aren't simply displays. They have a built-in CPU.
Ah, okay.
So you not only get the display, you get a complete computer system in there, because there's an ESP32, I think S3 living in there.
Okay.
And it shows when you look at the other one with all the connections that I have in there.
Lots of connections. UART, GPIO.
Yeah.
Various things.
Yeah.
So this ESP, this is not like a Raspberry Pi or something?
No, this is a bit smaller than a Raspberry Pi. It does Wi-Fi.
Okay.
It does Bluetooth, so there's connectivity there. This is what I like more than a Raspberry 3040 or something. This has a TF slot. Both of them have TF slots, so you can put in little memory cards. It even has a battery connector, so you could build something that is mobile with this one. Okay,
so is this little computer something like a cross or somewhere between an MCU or an Arduino and a Raspberry Pi?
I would put
this something like that.
I would put this more on the MCU, more related to an Arduino than to a Raspberry Pi or something. Because it's an MCU. A Raspberry Pi tries to be a whole system on a chip. Okay. And these are more like microcontrollers. So
a similar sort of application to a microcontroller.
Yeah, with much more power.
Interesting. So, Jeff, how much do these things cost?
Oh, this was a big question here, because we didn't want to do anything that simply kills the bank there. So we were going for something that is below 30 euros, and I think we may manage this. Let's have a look at the products thingamajigs.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's the big display, and it's a 7-inch. HMI, whatever this is, 800 by 480 RGB TFT.
Okay.
Touch screen, which is nice too, and you get the whole thing for $24.90. So
okay, not expensive.
Not really expensive, indeed. Yeah.
How about the other one?
Have a look at the other one. The ePaper display, 400 by 300 was right with this with the resolution. Goes for 28.
Okay. So why did you buy these two, Dad? Did you basically want to figure out which is the most suited for our use?
Yep, this was the reason for that. And you normally don't have the chance to do this like we are currently doing, to have a selection here. Oh, what do we want to use? And I said, okay, if I have the chance to play around with these, well, why not? We only will be using one, so we won't be using both of them, because this is a complete new development, because you need to use different libraries and we were only using one of these.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, chances are to play around with these.
Okay, so shall we have a look at them? Just switch them on and see what they do.
I want to show the people one thing here on the website first.
Okay.
If you scroll down a bit, if you scroll down a lot, there are more displays. They have some more displays here. So we are currently running the big one here.
Okay.
So there are some features of the thing. So if you want to know the details here, these are always here. So there's even PS RAM. So this is fast RAM. And there's touch, and it's capacitive, so not something resistive like in the old days. But I found this very good because we can document. And look at this; they have a complete schematics here.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, you normally don't get these with this kind of stuff, but they giving you a complete schematic here. So yeah, there's a library you can use to do all the graphic thingamajigs.
Okay.
And if I look at the ePaper display over here. Scrolling down, it's the same. You got a schematic. I won't go into details here, but if you're interested, schematics are there, which is, I like this.
And data sheets I can see also.
Yeah, so this is a controller. The SSD 16H3 is a controller for the ePaper display. So you get a data sheet for everything here.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Okay, so what's the difference between these displays? Do you think one of them's maybe better suited than the other one to this project?
Well, I would say let the people decide.
Okay, that's a good purpose for this video.
Yeah, this could be a thing. You guys decide what you think is the best.
Yeah, best. So you and him over there, and
yeah,
that one sitting in the corner there at the back. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let us know what you think. So TFT displays. Big thing is full color. So you got RGB colors on this, and it's a touch display. So this is nice. With the ePaper display, the biggest upside is it's readable in every imaginable situation.
Yeah, it's not reflective, is it? I think like
no, and you can read this in the bright sunlight. The TFT will probably die in bright sunlight.
Okay.
I remember when we were back in the university. We had this little OLED displays, and we developed everything in the lab. And then we went outside, and nobody could read anything. It was simply too dark.
And that was in Germany.
That was in Germany, yes.
So you got no chance in Gran Canaria whatsoever.
Yeah, and ePaper display actually could be readable in bright sunlight. We actually switched to ePaper displays after this. One more thing: TFT displays are way faster, so you have a way higher refresh rate. Your laptop or your monitor or your phone you're currently watching on this is a TFT display. So you can watch in 60 frames on there, even higher on high-end monitors. The ePaper display has a very slow refresh rate. The biggest upside with ePaper displays is normally the power consumption, because you only need power when you change the display. When there's nothing going on display, it virtually needs no power.
Yeah. Okay.
We got the little one, the ePaper display connected, and it's connected via USB-C. So we will be running this in our project. We will be running this directly from a power source. But if you're running this standalone for, say, a display unit on a door, just a thing. Okay, and you maybe want to switch this on.
Yeah. Oh! It's flashing like crazy, and now there we go.
Yeah.
Oh. Very clear.
Yeah. So the big thing is the black is black, and it's really black. The flashing thing is a refresh of the whole thing. So it redraws the screen there, so it clears the screen. And there's a little mounting thing on the side. So
a little controller.
And I think I can click somewhere.
There are two buttons on there as well. This flashing thing's a little bit strange.
Look at this. There's it. Yeah, you need this to clear the screen.
Okay.
And I never saw this fast. So, yeah, if you got black and white, this would be the solution there. And so I disconnected this now, and there's no battery connected. This is simply keeps what's last on there.
Okay. Yeah, that's why those ebook readers, you only have to charge them up for one time. You take the thing on holiday with you for weeks, and it doesn't go flat. Yeah.
Indeed. And we have a little control over here that we could use. So there are some buttons. There's a.
Don't we need the power supply attached to that?
Clickety thing. Well, for the transistor tester, we will support this from the main system.
Yeah. Okay. So that's one way, guys. I mean, considering that we're going to effectively hit test, obviously there's going to be some options where you can enter the maximum test current.
Yeah, sure.
So you would actually, after it enter in, you'd have some little display where you just select your numbers, okay, enter, and then you hit test and it runs it and it just plots you a graph.
Yeah,
That's the idea.
that's the idea. Yeah.
So the display for most of the time is fairly static, so I'm not sure the refresh rate would have any great impact on use.
It wouldn't. It absolutely wouldn't. Yeah.
And that's certainly very clear. I mean, even on my overhead camera here, which you guys know, I have a lot of problems with multimeters and oscilloscopes. Yep.
Can you zoom in there?
I certainly
really
can.
Close?
That's as close as I can get.
Well, I think this is pretty fine for black and white. Remember, there are no gray stages here, so this is just really black and white. So
Okay.
all the niddly corners there are just
Pixelated.
interlacing, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one of the displays we could use. How about the other one?
Let's go to the other one. Yeah, this is the problem with touchscreens. It always looks like it's coming from a children's birthday party.
Oh, come on. There would be jam and sticky bits and broken biscuits in that case.
Tasty. Yeah. And of course, it focuses a bit hard because we don't have anything on there. But switch it on and see what happens.
Yeah, because what you actually see there is the reflection of the overhead
It's a
camera.
camera. Yep.
Yeah, overhead camera on the bench. Whereas the other one, we didn't have a reflective problem. Okay, switch it on.
Yeah.
What does it do?
I think you need to just press it and not hold it down.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, okay.
Ta-da!
Oh, it's a star field effect.
Well, it's not moving, but I think this is pretty impressive, you know?
And
We
this,
saw it for 25 euros or something. Yeah.
and this is a touch screen.
That's touch, yeah. And you can actually scroll the thingamajigs.
You can scroll the...
Yeah.
Clearly, this would be better for a user interface. The screen refresh is a bit slow, but there again, if we put in graphs and we're entering parameters, I don't see...
We pretty much don't care about screen refresh, so this would be absolutely fine.
Yeah. This is interesting. Oh, look at this. So this has like a really sophisticated graphic user interface.
Yeah, LVGL, this is a library for that. So this does all the heavy lifting in the background. So you don't have to care about the natives here, so the primitives. And what's interesting, look, the viewing angle
Yeah. It's quite wide.
is quite wide. Horizontal better than vertical.
Yeah.
This is a normal
Agreed.
norm here. And for me, looking at this is absolutely fine. The camera is giving a good representation there. Yeah.
This is quite fancy. I mean, things like this could be like a progress current meter or anything, couldn't it? Really? Yeah. I would say myself that this rather well suits our application. The question is how difficult it is to use. Oh, look, it even brings a keyboard on.
There's even a keyboard, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, this is doing a lot of work for us.
Yeah. The heavy lifting is done in LVGL. Yeah.
Yeah. Lowercase, uppercase. I'm guessing there's a switch. Yeah, keyboard off. Keyboard on, numbers, yeah, that has what we need. So guys, those are the two options we have. I think I took a bit of a wow factor from this one, but I must admit that one is far more readable.
It is, and it's the same when you look at this not as through a camera. When you look at this from here, from an angle, I'm seeing this from an angle from here, and I can read the black and white display perfectly, while the TFT display is a bit, I need to tilt this over,
yeah, you can see the difference, can't you? Yeah. So, do you have any preference, Det, or not?
No, not really. I mean, we have to learn the libraries anyways, so I don't care which one we use.
I would say this is the easiest to use for a nice graphic user interface. So if you're having to enter a maximum current with this, you would have to use the little slide button and then choose numbers and hit press and stuff. Lots of pressing and choosing, whereas this you just type it in. I'm guessing. If we find a decimal point, but you get what I'm saying, you know. Yeah. Maybe.
Your skills. Oh, damn it.
Oh, you could even ramp up or down the power with this.
Yeah. This would be my solution for that, you know?
Yeah, just ramp up the maximum, and have presets, obviously, as well, on buttons.
Yeah, to have 10 amps, 1 amp,
and
like
custom.
Custom, and custom will be the slider. So you don't have to worry about typey things, you know. Typey things are bad.
And we can't do that with this one.
No, this isn't touchy.
No. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to say over to you and him in the corner and the one with the beer
let's
over
hear
there.
what you guys have to
the
say
one with the
about
popcorn.
it. Yeah.
So that's what it's going to look like on our, I think, going to be rather professional MOSFET analyzer. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy this video? Could you think of any use yourselves that you might be interested in using these things in your own projects?
True. Yeah. Let's hear what the people say, because this isn't a thing where you say, okay, this will cost me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. This brings all the things to the table. You only have to think about what you want to control that.
And how much time it's going to take to do it.
Don't get me there.
Okay, guys, so we'll leave with that thought. Yep, thanks for watching. Thank you very much to Elecrow for sponsoring Detlef in this case.
Thank you very much, Elecrow,
with these displays. And you will see these again, whichever one in particular we're going to use on one of the projects, in fact, the transistor tester. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to seeing you all soon again on Electronics Repair. Ciao for now.